So I just thought I would do a quick video before I go up for my check-in today. So it has been 1 month of doing intuitive eating. Well, actually, like it's been 3 weeks and I've started tracking again. So what Dan had wanted me to do was track 1 weekend day and 2 weekdays. So I started tracking on Saturday. And if you remember in my last vlog, I had said how much I was enjoying not tracking and not weighing and just really embracing it and absolutely loving it. Well, I tracked on Saturday and I really enjoyed it, and it made me feel like I was much more in control and much more on track. So I continued to track from Saturday. I still I wasn't being strict to like a set macro plan, calorie plan, but I just made sure I tracked everything. So over the last 6 days I've tracked absolutely everything, so I can take my stats to Dan so he can make a plan from here. So I do my calories, protein, fat and carbs. So between 1900 and 2600 calories a day I've been eating over the last 6 days. So it's pretty easy to see where the weight gains come from, and that's me tracking. So I really think that I completely underestimated what I was eating. So I was doing the intuitive eating. Sorry, message came through and lost my train of thought. So in my head, I was just quickly doing calculations and I was like, oh yeah, I'm sitting about here. But I think I was consuming more than I thought I was consuming, which is what all the research shows, that you underestimate what you eat and you overestimate how much you train. But now I've got the week's worth of data. I'll go and have my check-in with Dan today and see what the plan is for me for the year. I have a few other thoughts in my mind, so I will update you on that after I've had a chat with Dan. I will just see my little notes here. The other thing I got concerned at is I watched a YouTube video from Jackson Piosk, who is a well-known scientist here, about intuitive eating versus tracking. And for someone who wants to be an athlete or has body composition goals, he does not recommend intuitive eating at all. And he brought up some good points, which I've jotted down. Your body likes to be where it likes to sit. It doesn't like to be shredded or lean, and it doesn't like to be jacked and muscular. So it just has that fun place where it sits in the middle. So by intuitive eating, it's just going to sit happily. It's not going to be shredded and it's not going to be bulking. So to recomposition your body, you need to be working on obviously being in a calorie deficit or being in a controlled surplus and hitting your protein. So I started getting concerned that I probably wasn't hitting my protein. So that was one reason I wanted to track as well. But I certainly feel much more in control tracking, and yeah, I feel better about myself. So intuitive eating was great to begin with, that freedom there. But I think if you actually have body composition goals, so you want to lose weight or you want to gain muscle, then it is probably not ideal for that. If you just want to maintain, absolutely. Or you find a nice balance between the two. So perhaps track Monday to Friday and intuitively eat on the weekends or something like that. That's my advice to you. But I'll check in with my coach today, see what he has to say and see what the plan is, and I will keep you updated. Hey, I hope I'm in the screen because I can't see. It's just time to give a little update after my check-in on Friday. So I did my 4 weeks of intuitive eating, and as you would have seen, I gave a bit of review on how I felt about the intuitive eating versus the tracking. Absolutely loved it at first, and then by the end when I started actually tracking, I felt much more in control and focused, and because I want to build muscle, I felt like I could actually keep a track of the protein that I was eating and making sure I was on track. Currently just getting used to being in my bigger body and trying to come to terms with all that. So I weighed in with Dan at 64.3, so super heavy. So probably the same weight when I started comp prep with Alice a couple of years ago. But I had a really, really big chat with Dan, and I really now understand the importance of spending time building muscle. And I think I mentioned in a video before that dieting is uncomfortable, but also Building is uncomfortable. Just, you know, having things a bit tighter and not liking, I don't mind what the number says, but I don't like the cellulite. That's what gets to me the most. But just embracing the bigger body and really focusing on building that muscle. I've never spent any really good quality time in a surplus. I've always had a dieting mentality. Even though people have tried to bring my calories up, I'm always trying to eat under and I'm always trying to diet. So I've really embraced the eating more. But now it's time to actually, like, what I'm eating needs to be nutritious and really fuel my training to build that muscle. Had a big chat to Dan, and a few of you know that I had my heart set on competing again in October. But this will be the last time that I am competing, so I really want to bring the best package to stage that I can. So I had a big chat to Dan and I have now decided to take a longer off season, so to spend the next 12 to 18 months really focusing on building my physique. And then I also want to spend longer time dieting too. So I want to come in bigger, but I also want to come in leaner. And now that they've brought the show forward to September, it doesn't give us a lot of time to build and then diet. So it's really only 6 weeks before I would have to start dieting again. So I want to actually make sure I make enough physical changes to my body before I go stripping back the fat and go to compete again. So I was really quite sad about it, but I really know that it's the best thing for me. I really need to focus on that time building, and I want to focus on Lily's last year of school, work on building up CatFit, and work on my members, my nutrition, and all the other stuff behind the scenes. I know when I go into comp prep mode, I'm fully 100% committed and nothing else matters. So I really need to make sure that everything is running beautifully and smoothly, the family's on board, that the gym can run, the members are doing well, and all that kind of thing, that everything's going to be ready to go for when I do actually jump in and start dieting again. So that's where I'm at. I gave him a list of, so I ended up tracking for about 6 days. I tracked for the Saturday, and then it was actually a really good day, and Sunday was like Valentine's Day and Laker's birthday, and I ate a lot more junk. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to track that as well to make sure it's accurate. Then I just kept tracking. So I ended up tracking for 6 days. I still did a bit of the intuitive eating. I still kind of ate what I wanted when I wanted, logged it all. Took it to Dan, worked out the averages. So the averages were about 2350, so about where he wanted me to be at. I did explain that I probably was eating a little more than that when I wasn't tracking. Really underestimated how much I was eating. Anyway, he set my targets based on that. So he set me at like 2400. Just off the top of my head, 300 and something grams of carbs, 130 protein, and 70 fat. So it's quite high. I don't know how long we're going to do that for before we maybe have like a mini cut. So we'll strip some fat off, we'll build, we'll strip some fat off, and we'll build. But obviously the higher the calories, the better and easier that's going to be. But it's really just me learning to embrace the bigger body. And really think about the end game and the end goal. So being slightly uncomfortable now will hopefully benefit me in the long term. May just need to buy a new wardrobe. So that's my news. I will keep you up to date with how it's all going. Like I said, so I'm starting now fueling my body properly, more fruit and veg, and proper carbohydrates and protein and stuff like that. So I will do a day of eating for you on my building calories, just to show you that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see, if you have any other questions. But as sad as I was about it, I am still quite happy with the decision and think it's a smart decision to spend that time to build, because otherwise it's like 3 years back to back and you just don't get that good quality time in a building phase. And then, like I said, I want a longer dieting phase this time. I want to come in much leaner than I did last year. So that's me. Oh, and I actually do not even know what my skin folds are. He did do them, and they are on the system, but I haven't looked at them yet. So I'm a bit nervous. I estimate between 85 and 90. The biggest my skin folds have ever been was 84.4. So I will look soon. And my weight was, I'd say 64.3, and I had estimated that to be about 65. So I'm pretty on par with how I'm sitting. So I will look at it when I'm ready. It doesn't matter so much now because the focus has changed. But yes, so that's my news. So I will see you in the next one. So meal number 1, starting to think and feel like an athlete. I've done my strength session and had a bit of a run. Today's breakfast is going to be Eats porridge. I've put some apple in to increase the carbs, and I'll have a little bit of peanut butter for the fats. And dinner tonight will be a HelloFresh meal, and I will show you my lunch. After I cook this, I will be adding some protein powder and the peanut butter at the end, and I will take a photo for you. Another thing that's really nice with apple and porridge is cinnamon, but I won't put that if I'm having peanut butter. Alright, that's my porridge ready to go. Now let me show you how I measure the peanut butter. So, tear that, but I'm just going to give that a little stir. Okay. Show you again. Okay, 0. It's 29. 13. Just putting it over my cereal. And that makes it 30. 19. Yep, I'm licking my fingers. So put that lid on that and put that away. So that is now my first meal. So this is meal number 2. We go with a macros meal. Here, I'll just heat that up for 2 minutes, and that will come with a Pepsi Max. Let's hope it's yummy. So my day of eating did not end well because I had trouble with the camera. I ended up having a HelloFresh meal for dinner and I think a bowl of Nutri-Grain. So I'm going to wrap up the movie here, or the vlog, but I also wanted to say I did actually eventually go and look at my skin folds, and my highest skin folds ever was 84.4. So like I said in one of these videos earlier, that I thought it was probably going to be between 85 and 90. So I was happy when I saw that the millimoles were 80 millimoles, so not as awful as I first thought. Weight is, however, much higher, but millimoles aren't as bad. So I will see you at the next check-in and seeing how we're going.